Brandon here. Time for more SexxxPerTease. Today's question is, why do most wealthy black celebrities end up with white partners? This is a big thing in Hollywood and just the entertainment industry and the sports industry, especially with black queer celebrities as well. You are more likely to see a wealthy, successful black person with a non-black partner. I personally think the biggest issue is that, not issue, I mean, love is love. Like, ultimately, we do want everyone to find love, find a partner, etc., regardless of their ethnicity and whatnot. But as a black queer person who grew up in a more affluent area, there were barely any other black people there. So when you're growing up, of course, you're going to be attracted to people. You're going to, like, find other people attractive. You're going to be interested in people. So, like, race isn't really a factor. Like, it wasn't a factor for me, but I also feel like, of course, you're being taught race, racism, etc. through TV, movies, books, etc. And even you just learn it from your environment, your behavior, because people treat you differently when you're obviously not white, or you're a minority and you don't look like anyone else. Like, where I grew up, everyone was either like white or Latino, so like everything else, like black, Asian, etc., was like very small numbers. So like my best friends ended up being like white, Latino, Asians, because like I can relate to like everyone. But also just being black and gay, but also being racially ambiguous. It's like I didn't fit in with the black people. I always felt like the black people were more likely to bully me. I was gonna feel more like racism and homophobia from black people than I did from other races. So, and it's so true, because it is like black people tend to be more homophobic. It is a fact. I mean, of course, like people in third world countries, yeah, like it all comes out of socioeconomic status, income level, race, etc., but it all funnels down. So like it's a whole racism funnel from like every direction. Yes, every race is racist, every race is homophobia, but I did feel more comfortable and at ease with non-black people. I experienced way less homophobia than when I was around other black people, and I feel like it happens. Like, you're more of a target when you are like a black queer person in a black environment. Like, you're going to experience like more bullying than when you escape that environment, because it honestly felt like non-black people were more accepting of my sexuality, so I did gravitate more towards them. I felt more comfortable, I felt more at ease, and I still do, especially even just growing up in an affluent area where it's like you're fed media images of like black people, crime, like you're more likely to get attacked or gay bashed, etc., in a black environment. So I was like scared of like the ghetto or like being in areas that are very black. I mean I've lived in Atlanta, but Atlanta's also very gay, so I felt safe, as opposed to like if I went to like some other black place. Like, I've noticed just in everyone in Jamaica, or like many places in the Caribbean that are like known for their homophobia. But anyway, I do feel like black people are more likely to bully other black people, and I feel like people don't realize, like, when you see all these black athletes with their white partners, like, a lot of them could also have grown up bullied by other black people. Like, the whole colorism thing, like, I feel like black people are more colorist bullies to each other than they experience from other races, because I kind of feel like if you're black, you're gonna, if someone's racist, they don't care if you're light-skinned, dark-skinned, medium-skinned, like, they don't like black people. So it doesn't matter if you're lighter or not. They don't like you. But like when it comes down to it, like black people definitely treat each other differently when you're light skinned or brown skinned, dark skinned. And then people always want to feel like a hierarchy and feel better than each other. So like the brown skinned people put down the darker people, and it's like and then the darker people resent the lighter people because they think they have all these privileges and better treatment. So it's like when dark skinned people are getting bullied for their races, by their race, for their racial features, they are going to find more people that appreciate their features outside of the black community, which is why you see more people that date outside their race. And also when people are bullied for like their wide noses or big lips or whatever, they're going to want to erase those features so their children don't have to deal with the bullying that they experience. So they are going to want that more, I only want to be with someone light, I only want to be with somebody that is white or non-black, so they can try to like hope their child doesn't have to deal with the same colorism, racism, etc. that they dealt with. And I feel like people always think of that from like the female perspective, but they don't realize like men are growing up getting bullied for being black, for their dark skin, for their black features, etc. So that is why you see a lot of these black athletes probably with non-black partners, because they did grow up bullied for how they look by black people, and it causes a resentment, and they don't want their kids and future offspring to go through that and hope that they look different than them so they don't experience that. So that is a factor. And also, I just feel like when you are wealthy, like, again, the wealth inequality definitely is influenced by race and racism. So there's very fewer black people as you get to each upper tax bracket. So if you only want to be with someone in your tax bracket, you're going to have way less black options. So your options are either, do I want to date a black person who may not be as educated or financially stable or as successful as me because I just want to be with a black person, or am I going to try to find someone that is at a certain income level, education level that matches what I have or what I aspire to be? And you're going to more likely find that outside of your race. And people, I feel like, don't want to like acknowledge that factor. It's like, as for my perspective, like, I grew up in a 2-parent household. I have a college degree. I grew up in a certain wealth income level. I know was by no means like wealthy or one of the wealthiest people in my area, and I always felt like insecure about that because I felt like all the white people I was like envious. They had much bigger houses and like pools, or like got a car since they turned 16, and like I didn't get that, but like I still was in like the same school vicinity, etc. But you definitely feel those differences, and it's definitely, you notice the differences by race. But again, if I were to be like, I only be with a man that comes from a 2-parent household like me, I only want a man that also has a college degree like I do, that is very hard to find. Like, it's been impossible for me to find. I have yet to date another black man that has a degree, graduated college, etc. I mean, I've gone on dates with some, but I haven't actually been in a relationship with one. And honestly, if you are limiting yourself by that criteria, it does make the dating pool so much smaller. So it is more likely, if I were to be like, okay, if I want to be with a man that came from a 2-parent household and has a degree, regardless of his race, I am more likely to find that not with black men. And it's the reality of the situation. So in a celebrity, etc., financial status, when you get to a certain income level, like, your options of black people in the upper echelon are much slimmer. So, and if you are like an entertainer, you're more likely to date people that are also in your orbit, in your vicinity, that you come in contact with. Like, not everyone's on dating apps where you can just like get in contact with anybody, especially if you are like wealthy and a celebrity. It's like you can't have yourself accessible to like just anybody. But I do feel like if you are gay, you kind of can get away with that more because like people aren't checking for like the gays as much if you are like a celebrity. But it just depends on what your fame level is. But it's like, I doubt I'd see Andy Cohen on Grindr, but you never know. But yeah, so I do just feel like, again, it's the whole racism, wealth inequality thing. You are less likely to find more successful black people, so it's going to be harder to find a black person at your level or like above you too if you're only trying to date up or like at your level. So you will usually have to date down. This happens why a lot of black women are more successful financially and education wise than black men, and they usually, if they are more motivated to find a black partner, even though they say that black men are the race most likely to marry and date outside the race, yet black women are the group that's most likely to date and marry inside their race. So that also creates a discrepancy where like black women are looking for black men, but there's way less black men because a lot of them are open to like outside options, but black women just want to like preserve the black race and be with other black men. But it is harder to find black men that are at their level financially and education level, which is why you see a lot of black women having to date down, but then they end up in these horrible situations where they're with a man that's like jealous of them or abusive because he is resentful because men are supposed to be like the breadwinner and like the more successful one. But in the black community, like, the women tend to be the bigger earners and the more financially stable, successful, educated, etc. So it's just this whole crapshoot of wanting better for yourself, but then it's like it's harder to find somebody else that also wanted better for themselves to match your level, that also wants what you want. Because when you do find people, other black people at your level, they probably are with someone that's not black. And there's also internalized racism that comes into play. There are people that are like, I want white privilege, I'm not going to get that with a black partner, and they're black, and they're like, I need to date outside my race because people are going to take me more seriously, or I'm going to get more respect from white people because I'm with a white woman. And in reality, it's like, you're still never going to be seen as equal. They just tolerate you because you married into like their family or their social group, but it's like, you're still always going to be the odd one out, even though people are